All right, people, we need your support. This channel exists because you believe in our stories. We're not funded by big corporations. We're not bought by special interests. We're independent for the people, by the people. And we're here to speak the truth of our communities across the country. Every story we bring to you about injustices, about our culture, about what's really going on in our neighborhood is powered by us, and hopefully now by you. We're asking every single viewer who values what we're doing here to help us stay independent. If just a few of you would donate $2 to $5, it'll make a huge difference. It's easy. You could send support through Venmo, Cash App, or Zelle. Your donation doesn't just keep the lights on, it keeps our voices strong. We're not just another YouTube channel. We're your news, we're your platform, we're your movement. So if you rock with us, if you believe in independent Latino media, drop $2, $3, or $5 today. Thank you so much for watching, supporting, and standing with us. We're just getting started. Let's grow together. And we are live. Mr. Chris, all right, everybody, you guys know what it is. The one and the only, the American Cholo podcast, broadcasting live and direct to you from North Hollywood, California. My name is Gil, and I am the American Cholo. And today, I got the honor to be sitting with Mr. Bruno. What's up, Bruno?
What's going on, Gil? We're really, it's an honor today. We got a special guest that popped in on us.
Who we got here, bro? Who's this guy right here, bro?
We got Mr. Peter Verratti. He's a entrepreneur, founder of multiple companies, owns a podcast, father, husband, dog lover. It's Mr. Peter Verratti.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that kind intro.
What's up, Peter? How we doing today, man?
We're doing good. We're doing good. You know, came here to possibly help to inspire and motivate some people on never giving up. And no matter, you know, how far you're down and how old you are, how young you are, it's never too late to make something happen.
But we were talking off air. It sounded like you're doing pretty good for yourself. But I guess what happens is when you're doing good for yourself, a lot of people never really see the down side of it, right? So were you like, not, right now you've got a successful business, right? Did you come from money? Did you start that way?
I started, you know, what I really respect about, like, you know, this community and in life, we generally try to find, you know, common ground with people. So we, you know, join a group or a church or an organization or a gang, you know, like a crew, because, you know, that's, we always seek kind of, you know, we seek brotherhood. So I'm happy to be here with two brothers, you know, because we come from the same kind of background, you know. We grew up poor. You know, Bruno is my cousin. My mom's brother is his father. Rest in peace to Big Bruno. And, you know, we grew up in Burbank, California. And I'm half Hungarian and half Mexican. So I like to say I'm a hungry Mexican. And you know, and I look like straight Mexican, you know. So it was interesting growing up in Burbank at that time. You're talking about the, you know, the late 70s or early 80s, where there was still a lot of racism. It wasn't what it was today. Now it's like mostly Armenian, and it was all white people. And I remember going to junior high school, and there was like 10 Latinos, and I was one of them, you know. And then I would tell the people, like, some people, like, no, I don't know, like, am I white because my dad's white? And they're like, nah, bro, you know, you look Mexican. So I ran with that, you know. And so I felt a lot of that racism, and Burbank cops are notorious, you know, and growing up there was incidents even when I was a kid when I jaywalked on my way to Walt Disney Elementary School, and then the cop pulled me over, and I didn't understand at the time because I was only in 3rd grade, and he started calling me a beaner.
Oh, shit.
He goes, you little fucking beaner. And I was like, oh, shit, you know. So I started to already feel that kind of racism. And earlier than that is when I was from 5 years old to 8 years old, we moved to, my dad decided that he wanted us to grow up in Hungary, and we moved to Hungary. And over there, this is a communist Hungary. This is, you know, before the Berlin Wall fell, and going there at that time, you know, the world wasn't the way it is now. You know, because of air travel now, you can just jump on a plane and go to Hungary. Like, it wasn't like that back then. And so when we were there, we were the only people that looked like this skin color, other than the gypsies. So as we rolled around Budapest and in Hungary, women would clutch their purses, and we would get on a train, and they would all scoot away from us because they thought we were gypsies. And
so what's everybody over there, light-skinned?
Everyone's white.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, okay. we stood out like a sore thumb. So I experienced racism here, then I experienced racism there, and then we come back to to after 3 years, my mom just couldn't take it. She's like, no, I don't like it here. It was a communist country, so everything's kind of restricted and whatnot. So we come back here, and then we ended up on Elm and Lake Street. We called it the Nightmare on Elm Street because it was, at that time, it was like the hood. And Bruno lived right there. And we came back with nothing because we had sold everything to move to Hungary. We came back starting over. And then Bruno, we ended up living in your house. You remember that?
Yeah. No, actually, I was like 2 years old.
Yeah, he was. But I remember that house too that you guys lived in.
We went looking for it, my mom and I, the other day. The whole alley, everything, but it's changed obviously.
Yeah, and so then we started coming up here, and we were poor, and then I would go to Mexico. My mom would send us down to Mexico like for the summers. Do you remember she'd drive us down there, and then they would take us to like my tia's rancho, right? It was like a straight rancho. And then she'd be like, oh, we're going to be back. And they would leave. They wouldn't come back for 2 fucking months. They wanted to get rid of us.
This is the rancho. You're taking showers with barrels of water,
bro. Straight up.
No, it was the house stuff,
Yeah, and then they had like, the floors were mud. And then when we would be eating, remember, like the chickens and ducks and stuff would be underneath the table, and we'd be feeding them because we were kids, And when we went over there, people started saying, oh, son húngaros. And we didn't know what the fuck that meant. And everyone was scared of us in Mexico because the húngaros, like if people that know, it's like they steal kids in Mexico, like the gypsies. And so people like ostracize us there too. It's like I felt it from all these angles. So growing up, I had a chip on my shoulder. I didn't know what I was. Was I white? Was I Mexican? Everyone doesn't like me. And even like the homies, right? Like when they would get mad at me or something, they'd be like, oh, shut up, white boy. You're a white boy. And I'm like, like I can't fit in anywhere, So that's, and that played a big part in my life.
Of course.
Always feeling, that when I walk in a room, even today, that I'm being judged by how I look, And so as you get older and wiser, you just end up embracing it. And I like to look different. I want to be different in the room now. So that's kind of how we came up.
So once you, I guess, turn into your 20s or something, when did you leave that, bad lifestyle behind, even though you didn't leave it behind completely, and start stepping into the work part of your life?
Even as a kid, when you're an entrepreneur, you just know it. I remember when I was like 10, I was a paper boy, and so I had my bike, and I would go throw in the newspapers back when they had newspapers. And I remember at 12 years old, I got my first job at a car wash, and then as soon as they found out how old I was, they didn't let me work. My mom went and made a big deal. So I always had that kind of entrepreneur spirit, and even when it came to like the streets, so. I think it was in 1986 and 87, I got into graffiti, and I loved it because the reason I was in graffiti and the reason why I ended up getting into gangs and getting in a lot of trouble is I love the rush of excitement, like the danger. It was just so like enticing to me. And so I started a crew called STP, Setting the Pace. And then Bruno was still younger than us, and he was always with us, but he wasn't into graffiti yet or tagger. And as you know, Bruno became a very famous, prolific, one of the greatest, guys that got up here in LA. And I ran the crew, and we called it Setting the Pace. We were always in front. We're always thinking.
How many guys was it when you guys started it?
The originals, like what, 10 maybe or something.
There's that. Cisco.
Oh, Cisco was there too.
Cisco's brother Hugo.
All the dirtbags.
Yeah, Hugo's, all the dirtbags.
Yeah, all the dirtbags.
So when you guys came up with the name, how many other different names were getting tossed around?
Oh, spraying the paint, right?
Spraying the paint?
Stealing 12 packs.
Subscribing to Playboy.
So you guys didn't know it was
Salt the
STP,
pickle.
but you guys didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
What's funny, the day that it started, he pulled me aside and he goes, I want you to remember, he goes, I'm never going to get credit for naming this. And he goes, but And he goes, but I'm never gonna get credit. He goes, like, history will forget, but he said, as long as you remember.
Not no more, bro. He dropped it down right here. He dropped it down. Now, Bruno, did he come up with the name, Bruno?
No.
Bruno did.
Bruno's like, I got that, bro. That's right. So, yeah, that is a major history there in the graffiti world, because STP is like, I mean, one of the biggest crews, if not the biggest crew that's known out here in Los Angeles.
Yeah, and we took, like what I was speaking about earlier, is like how we seek brotherhood and unity, that's how we built the crew. And when Bruno built it that way, where it was family oriented, everyone was inclusive. And anyone that I've ever took to a meeting, to a graffiti show, like my wife, when I've been married now 10 years, and when I took her to the first STP show, and everyone says the same thing, wow, it's so diverse. You guys have Filipinos and blacks and Asians, and like graffiti is a beautiful culture because it doesn't care about that. There are no lines. It's a bunch of misfits and pretty much outcasts that run the streets and chase this adrenaline and chase this fame amongst other graffiti artists, and so I find the whole culture of graffiti like a beautiful thing.
How do you feel about is it the 2nd Street Bridge or the 3rd Street Bridge this last week that happened, where the city went in there, they painted the whole bridge white, and then within 24 hours they hit it up again, they painted the whole street white again, and within 24 hours again they hit it up?
It's as I've gotten older, and you kind of more, a little more, it's.
I don't want to say that word, bro.
I understand it because I was the guy doing that,
right?
And when you're young, it's hard to explain unless you live it. But to get up and that's your sense of accomplishment when you roll into a party and you're like, oh, that's you, you're Ultra, because that's what these call me. You're Ultra. Oh, you're Bruno. He knows what it feels like. It's this fame you get, and it's a rush. So you want to put your name on everything, so everyone says that guy's up. He's the guy. He's the guy. Because when you're poor, growing up in the streets, you don't get that anywhere else. You don't get that recognition. I think that as STP grew and the foundation grew, and Bruno took it to the heights that he took it to, I remember when Bruno started doing these big events for the crew, and he would hand out awards to the graffiti artists, like, oh, you're the dopest, like at the trains, and he's got all the pictures, and we would do these events, and what it was is they would all say the same thing. What would they say?
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times we heard, I've never won anything. I've never taken anything. Wow, I've never been awarded anything.
I've never been recognized.
Yeah, 100%. So
that's what it is. I mean, even in gangs, gangs, graffiti, it's somebody who's never been recognized. Whereas, you got kids who play sports, they're jocks, their parents have money for football. So, hey, you're the quarterback, you're this, you're that. And we didn't have that, bro. So then you're Bruno, you're this, you're STP, you guys are that. So that gives you some notoriety that you never had before. But do you think those guys doing that is it a major crime? Is it a crime, or is it something that the police should just? Because I heard cops were just driving by and like, whatever.
Well, because I'm still in that.
In that vida.
That vida, I guess, because we do a podcast with my brother.
What's the name of the podcast?
It's called Classic Burners.
Okay.
And it really breaks down the history of the graffiti in Los Angeles. How did it start here? It does go back to the original graffiti here is, Chicano graffiti, gang graffiti. That's LA graffiti.
That's right.
And so, like, if you look at like Mr. Cartoon, he took his gang graffiti and then he mixed it with hip hop graffiti from New York, and that's his style, right? And it's recognized around the world. For sure.
Would you say that Classic Burners is one of the biggest graffiti podcasts now in a relatively short time?
I think it is the biggest graffiti park. There isn't nothing else like it. It's more of a documentary. Graffiti, when you look at how it started in New York. It started with some kids tagging up their names for recognition in the projects in the stairwells, and then they started going out to the street, and then they started figuring out, if I tag my name on this train, it's going to travel, and then from that started the letters, and it started the art. And if something to start so pure like that, art doesn't care if you're rich or you're poor. If I saw it in my brother. My brother was a great artist since he was 5 years old. I remember him drawing complex characters, and so what they did is they started doing these pieces on the train, and it wasn't for the art galleries. It wasn't for, collectors. It wasn't for money. It was only for recognition amongst their fellow graffiti artists. And then they developed their own system of judgment. Like, oh, that's whacked and that's dope, or that's a burner. So you would put up this beautiful piece of art. It wasn't for the people. It was just for us. And so the podcast, there is a guy named Soon. He was a famous New York graffiti artist, and he was really credited as the first guy that in 1979 moved to LA and then brought like graffiti here, like the New York style graffiti.
Really? He's the original guy, huh?
He's the original guy. And then there's really no, and so the podcast, we went and we interviewed Soon. We flew him in from Atlanta and we talked to him. And
dope.
So all the original guys that never got to tell their story, because the graffiti guys now, and I mean, and I don't fault them for it, but most of the guys that are famous, like these guys went to art school. These guys have parents, that like have money and help them. And, the graffiti, the original graffiti here in LA and the original graffiti in New York is by the poor people, by poor kids, man, looking for recognition. And so I just felt that they were never talked about, so we wanted to make this podcast, interview them, and tell the true story of what went down.
So how would you say that graffiti and gangs eventually shaped you in your entrepreneurial spirit and where you ended up with your companies?
So because I was a wild graffiti writer as a kid, and then when I hooked up with the homies, they're like, man, this guy's crazy. We got to get him into our gang. So I really got in, at that time too, and you're talking about the late 80s, I think it was 87 when I got I started gangbanging. All the girls wanted the little cholitos, like, man, it was,
this.
It was like, man, you would go to school and it was like, boom, they'd be like torpedoing you. So that was the fun part. And I love I could tell stories for days, being just straight guns pulled, shot at, like running, and I love the adrenaline of it, and I learned a lot. And so my career went from, I think, 87, 91 when I started just stepping back from everything. And then I started having my kids, and that's what really changed me, had my son, Johnny, then I had my daughter, Victoria, then my daughter, Emma Shen, my son, little Pete. And that is what, now I found my family. I found my
true calling.
My true calling was my family. And so all the things that I learned in the streets, I took to business, how to read people, how to feel energies, and how to, talk, and how to politic, and how to build, and how to hustle. Like all the things I learned in the street, I got to tell you, it's like the greatest education. You take me right now and you drop me off in downtown LA with no money, oh, I'm fine. You take some Harvard grad dude and you drop his ass off in downtown LA, he's done. He's not going to make it. He's going to get robbed, raped. Who the hell knows? The whole shebang. So, having that street knowledge and starting at the bottom, right, and then building your way up is like the most beautiful way to do it, because now you've got it all. You understand it all. You understand it from the top. You understand it from the bottom, so you can deal with any situation.
So with that starting at the bottom, you've ran a few businesses, right, and then you've fallen down on them, right?
Yes, sir.
How do you come back from something like that?
Even just thinking about coming here, right? I'm like, okay, well, what message do I want to try to convey here? And it's it's going to sound simple at first, and then when I kind of explain it, there's a deeper purpose. It's just never giving up. Being resilient. Times when I was in trouble and I did do time and I was in the county jail, I did a county year and I went to camps and all that, and I was in the hole. And in those times, like the darkest times is when you find like who you are, that's when you develop your character and you start to learn that, the problems are going to come, right? They're going to come no matter what. And the way you handle them is going to define everything. Like some dudes just, turn to alcohol and drugs and completely, they turn homeless and they live in tents and, and we can't judge them because we don't know their story, and so sometimes, I even catch myself, because I have like those old kind of habits that I've been working to just clear away is I judge, but then I realize like, hey man, I don't know his story. Like, I don't know why he's sleeping on that park bench right there or whatever. And, if he has kids, the beautiful thing about kids is like, if you end up on that park bench with a needle in your arm, your kids are still gonna love you. That unconditional love is I don't want to go into something else, but is what I found in dogs. So I want to talk to because I'm a big fan of dogs. So took all that stuff that I learned in the streets, took it into business, and I still had these old, it's money and power amplifies, right? If you're a jackass and you get rich, right, you're going to be a rich jackass.
Oh, yeah.
Ricardo. Shout out Ricardo.
Shout out Ricardo. And
He's rich, Just letting you know, bro.
He's a millionaire.
if you're a good person, you're generous, you're kind, and you want to help others, you end up starting a nonprofit. You end up starting a show like this, giving out backpacks like you guys are doing, giving out turkeys. Like, everyone kind of says this, that like, I want to meet my own boss. I want to run my own business. Because you think that you're going to be the boss of everything. No. You know who's your boss? The tax man. You know who is? The lease you're paying on your building, and the employees, the payroll that you got to meet. Those bosses are worse because they just don't put up with it. Payroll comes on Friday, you don't have that payroll covered. Oh, bro, you think the employees are gonna be like, "Don't worry, boss, I understand."
Yeah, when I ran my own, and I would tell people, even today, I'd tell them like, dude, the biggest stress relievers on Thursdays were probably my worst day because I'm running around chasing money, bro. I'm making those phone calls. Hey, you got that check for me? You got this? I got deposited to the payroll. And Friday's like, give it all the money, bro. Everybody thinks you're just balling out because you're the jefe, bro, but they don't see. Or sometimes, somebody's 60 days about to hit the 90-day thing. People are calling you, hey, dude, we're going to put your account on hold because this guy hasn't paid you. And you don't want to pay because then if you pay, you don't have the lien. It's a lot of stuff that people don't see. Like they say to pregnant women, congratulations, but I don't know how many times you got boned to be pregnant, bro. I'll put it in a simple sense, right? But one thing I will say that a lot of people, and this is young and old, I always hear, oh man, I want to start this. Oh man, I want to start that. And I'm like, okay, well, what have you done to start it? I have a buddy of mine that, oh, dude, I want to do a clothing thing. I said, okay, have you got any patterns yet? Oh, no. Oh, have you looked into a machine? Oh no. I said, bro, you gotta invest this is your job right now. Invest your time. How much is the machine gonna cost me? How much are my patterns gonna cost me? How much is it gonna cost me to ship this thing? But people just, and I think especially during the COVID situation, everybody and their mama was gonna be an entrepreneur, bro. Because why? Because they were getting that free check every month, and they thought that money was never gonna stop coming. And I know people that were saying, "Oh man, I was like, well, what are you doing with this time? Right now, you got time, you got money, but everybody just like, I'm gonna be this." You got to invest in yourself. And unfortunately, a lot of people, they lack that investment in themselves. They just say, I want to. It's like, hey, I want to be fit and all swole, bro. If I don't go to the gym, it ain't going to happen.
That's right.
Right? So how did you overcome that? Was that because of all the stuff that you've done as you were younger?
I think it's, I had, mentors are very important,
Yes.
and, a lot of people bash social media. Oh, people are on social media too much. If you're on social media and you're listening and watching the right things, it's the greatest. You could literally learn anything you want from the internet. Everything that you need. And I remember early on, one of my mentors asked me a question that I wasn't able to answer. And this is, I'd already been in business for a while. And he goes, Peter, what's your philosophy? And I was like, huh? And he goes, what do you mean? And he's like, well, what's your philosophy on life? And I couldn't answer. I go, I don't know. I don't have one. I don't even know what that means. Going to, we call it the school of hard knocks, right? Like not actually really being studious because the lives that we live, right? You kind of start learning these things, as you go along. And what really, helped me stop drinking, what really helped me become a better person was understanding my philosophy. And if you look at anyone that's great in the world, like anyone, Steve Jobs, like I know people bash him, Elon Musk, or just name any famous person, they always write a book.
We don't say that name around.
and you know why they write a book? Because they figured something out and they want to pass that on. And they basically tell you, look, dude, here's how you do it. Anyone in any industry, like that Keller Williams guy, he wrote a book and it's really famous about real estate. Real estate just don't even read it. Like, bro, they're giving you the blueprint right there. So, books to me, and listening to books now, it's so easy on Audible,
That's cheating, bro.
You know, it's just books. You're the only way to get knowledge and wisdom is through the spoken word, what we're doing now, or the written word. There's no other way to put it in. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be an implant sooner or later that they put it in, you know. But for now, you have to hear it. You have to put it inside you, and that's the problem that most people don't do. They don't self-develop. It's the most important thing. You can develop yourself physically, but what about spiritually? What about mentally? You got to do it with a philosophy and books. And so the philosophy that I tend to lean on now is Stoic philosophy. I just love the way that they thought. And, that time they didn't have, this is more the Roman times. Marcus Aurelius is the most famous Stoic philosopher. He wrote a book called Meditations. And then there's Seneca and Zeno and all these great Stoic philosophers. All they would do is sit around and think. There was no distractions, and they would start to figure out, the way the mind works. And the basic tenet of a Stoic philosophy is, focus on the things that you can control. You can't control anything outside in this world. You can only control yourself and how you react to things.
The serenity prayer, bro.
Yes, sir. So,
well, real quick, that's a great point. And I think one of the challenges that Gil and I have, and we talk a lot about, is why our culture, why our communities are so invested in so much, I guess, what we call like fast food content, right? Which is like the junk stuff, the prison stuff, the glorifying, like the wrong type of stuff. Why do you feel that from the people that you've worked with, that you've mentored, that you hired, why do you believe that it's so hard for our communities to really break away from that toxic, I don't know if you call it knowledge, I don't care if you call it just pure content.
Toxic lifestyle.
Yeah. How do we finally just stop celebrating that? And to your point, even if it's not reading, to your point about listening to, consuming the right type of content, the right type of messages. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, you hear like Andrew Tate talk about, I don't know if I can mention his name on here, but you hear him talk about the Matrix, right? That the Matrix is real, right? And there's a great book, I highly recommend it. It's called The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. I'm sure a lot of people have read it, but that's an amazing book. It's basically, and then he wrote another book called The Fifth Agreement. We're all programmed. Like if I was born in Israel and my parents were Israeli, I'd be a Jew. If I was born in Palestine, to Palestinian parents, I'd be a Muslim.
He's hitting all the keywords.
So
not getting monetized, bro.
They asked Warren Buffett, what is the single biggest factor to someone's success? And he said it's to whom you were born and to where you were born.
Facts.
And so, we're born. Our parents were brought up by their parents, and their parents thought they had figured out, and they passed on that to their kids, and then they pass it on to us. It doesn't mean that it's right, I like to always think about this. If we were to go around the world and we were to, I remember my kids were like 4 to 7, 4 to 6. That was like the greatest age, growing up, because you're able to communicate with them and play with them. It's like a beautiful time. And if we were to go around the world and we were to, get a kid from Palestine, Israel, South Africa, Europe, South America, Russia, Asia, and we got all these kids, 300 kids, and we took them to a park, and then there was all these things to play with, and we just said, go play. You know what? They would have the greatest time. Yeah. They don't understand religious beefs or racist beefs, you're a different color. Like, they don't understand that. Like, and that's what I believe. I know this is going to sound, but that love can solve these things, and the only way to get out of it, to get out of that matrix, to get out of that program, is you need to first be aware. Awareness, and you hear it a lot in like the Hindu and Buddhist kind of teachings, like be aware, like when you meditate, right? It's awareness. Like if you're a dumbass and you don't know you're a dumbass, you're going to continue to be a dumbass.
Facts, bro.
But if you become aware, like
Philosophy
fuck.
101 right there, buddy. Philosophy 101, bro.
Philosophy 13.
But I agree with you to a point when you say love will conquer all. But I believe that comes into play when it's your family, when it's your children, the way you raise your kids. I say this many times, kids are a direct reflection of the parents. If you see some kids acting a damn fool, all just, stealing stuff, obnoxious, just puro desmadre, güey. You look at the parents like, yeah, that's where they learned it from, because that's what kids, just like any racism, any hate for any group, religious, they learn it from the parents. You know, so if the parents aren't hating like that, the kids aren't gonna be like that.
And you bring up a great point, Gil. And I don't know if Peter, if you had a chance to see Gil's post from today, what you took away from the post that you had today about the children in Palestine.
I see those are 4 kids, and I blurred them out. They're dead, bro. And when I see that, I don't see Palestinian kids. I don't see white kids. I don't see I see children. And to me, it breaks my heart to see that. And on the same side, you got the so-called religious factor of our community or just our world looking the other way. Like, I'm like, and I've had conversations with some of these guys, and there's one guy that got upset at me and said, "Oh, Gil, you're one-sided." I said, I don't care for either one of them. It doesn't matter. What I'm caring about is women and children, bro. They are not enemy combatants. We are sitting here pretty much both in the political world and in the religious world, looking the other way and making excuses because the Bible tells you they are the chosen people, and without the chosen people, God will not come. So what you're telling me is you're no different than the extremist Muslims that believe they should kill people to make everybody Muslim. So you're telling me we should let these people get murdered with our weapons so your God can come back? That's no God I want any part of, bro, because I really believe if God would say that's wrong. And this is probably a test to see what you guys are doing. And you guys are breaking everything. You guys are looking the other way while they're slaughtering kids. They're not letting food get in there. And one thing they can't argue, they try. If you're saying that's not happening, why don't you let the media in? They're not letting media into Gaza, and any media people that are Palestinians, they've killed over 100 and something media people that are streaming. They're killing them on live because they don't want that shown. You've noticed that in the news, since this really took off in Gaza, you don't hear anything about war crimes about Russia and Ukraine. Nothing. Because why? Because if you start talking about war crimes, they're like, well, you guys are saying this is okay. Yeah. And to me, screw Hamas, bro. Screw Hamas. But that's like, we're in the hood, so you're telling me if one of the homies kills a cop, you're going to go in there and you can just blast this whole apartment building? No, bro. Treat them the same way you would treat anybody else. You go in there, you have a huge army. Israel has had a ceasefire now with Iran. And Iran got bombs. Iran bomb. Why do you not need a ceasefire with these guys? These guys don't have shit anymore, bro. You have leveled this town. But what they're doing is they want them out of there, bro. They want to push them out of there, make that Israel. And Israel wants to eventually take over the rest of the Middle East where God promised them this land 3,000 years ago. Listen, I get you believe in this Bible, and that's fine. But when you start murdering and killing innocent people, bro, you can't fall into the Bible and say, oh, Jesus, let me do this, bro. And it's insane.
How do you feel about that, Peter?
I remember the morning when I was walking my dog, still dark. We go really early. And I remember I like to listen to the news sometimes when I walk. And I started hearing the reports of, Hamas, this surprise attack, thousands dead and all this craziness, right? And at that moment, I was like, dang, that's a wrong move by Hamas. And I was like, you know what? They got to get those fuckers. Like, yeah. I was, like, dude, this is not right what they did. And so, I was expecting a response, and somehow they get rid of Hamas. And what it's turned into is just, to me, it is a genocide. It is, bro. To see, I started actually thinking about this today. Like, what's a way to solve this? Like, I've seen some of the interviews of actual Palestinians. They don't want this. They don't even want Hamas. They're just tired. Like, if Israel was just to say, all right, look, we're going to set up this blockade here, and anyone that doesn't want to deal with Hamas and just wants to fucking be in peace, come over on this side, and we're going to protect you. We're going to feed you. And anyone that doesn't, you stay on that side. But they're not offering them that, like, safety. They're just saying, move from there. We're going to bomb there, move from there. And they're just chasing these innocent people, bombing as they go, killing innocent people. It feels like at this point, like they're doing it on purpose.
No, they are. They want the land, bro. It's a land grab. Yes. There is no if, ands, or buts about it. They try to push it. It's Egypt's fault. It's this because they won't take the people. What they want is those people out of here so they can keep pushing forward. It's a Zionist movement. It's a Zionist movement from the early 1900s. It's still pushing on today. And the Zionist movement is using is perverting religion. It's doing no different than what the Islamic terrorists do. They're perverting religion. God gave us this land. God will not come back until, and they're manipulating these Christians, and these guys, and some of them are my friends. They believe it, bro. They're like, oh no, Gil, but if I'm like, dude, listen what you're saying. You're saying it's okay for children and women to be murdered for your God to come back. No, I know it's tough, but, and I said, in the same token, Israelis, the Jews in the Israel, the Zionists, they laugh at Jesus. They call Jesus a pervert. They call your prophet. They don't even recognize, bro. Oh yeah, but don't worry. When Jesus comes back, he's gonna take care of all the. It's like, so you guys are all backstabbing each other, and meanwhile killing innocent people because you guys think both of your gods are coming back. The ironic part and the comical part, their God may come back and strike them both and say, you guys are both devils, bro.
Well, and the sad part, I think I had noticed a couple of the comments that you had gotten were people either blaming the right or the left, and it's true that both sides support Israel equally.
Listen, when it comes to immigration, they can't agree on. When it comes to welfare programs, they can't agree on. When it comes to abortion, they can't agree on. When it comes to anything in America that has to do with the United States, Republicans, Democrats cannot agree on it. When it comes to Israel, we support you. Everything for Israel. You will not see one of them. Also because you got AIPAC and you got all these lobbyist groups pushing for this, bro. They all push for this money, and I also believe that Epstein thing has a lot to do with that as well. They got a lot of these people blackmailed. Our government is pretty much being puppeteered by this small little country, bro. And they have used the religious part of that to brainwash many people. But I believe that with this Gaza genocide, people are opening their eyes like, I can't back this, bro. And there's a lot of people that are conservative, bro, that are now like Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, what's the name? The Young Turks, but he's left. But I mean, people, because how can you justify killing? I mean, and starving them. How can you justify? Is there bad people there? Yeah. Should we kill them? Absolutely, bro. I'm not saying go hug them, go murder them fools. But right now, there is no country there. It's leveled, bro. It looks like an atomic bomb has went off there, and they're still. Why? Because they want the land, bro. They are doing exactly what they have been preaching against for all those years, bro. What happened to them in Germany? Look at the Holocaust. Look at this. And now the victim has become the killer, bro. They're the ones out there doing that. And we keep looking the other way. To me, I'm not looking the other way. It's wrong. It's wrong, and there's no justification for it at this point. Should have they retaliated? Absolutely.
So, but do you think that the left would have been any different?
Nope.
Or, no.
No, Biden was in. That's like I said. That is the only thing that both parties will agree on. We support Israel. They even have that old video of Biden in the 90s. If Israel did not exist, we would have to make up in Israel. You know, and people. They brought them guys in there, pushed. It's like all of a sudden we're in California. Let's say there's a world war, right? For instance, there's a world war. We go to war with China. We go to war with Germany. We go to war with all this, right? We lose. America loses. And then all of a sudden, the powers that be there in power, China, Russia, they say, well, you know what? This was Mexico's land. We're going to give Mexico back Texas. We're going to give Mexico back California. Do you believe the Texans and Texans are going to be okay with that? Do you believe people are here? Because that was their original land. They should have it. Yeah. Because their God says they should have it. No, they're going to get the hell out of here, bro. So what we did, we went there and just said, oh, here you go. Here's your land because Jesus said you can have it. Or God said, the Torah. No, get out of here, bro. You literally just pushed up on people. You had a war. And they just kept taking. And what they're doing, they're trying to take more and more, bro. And I don't see it changing because both parties are being paid by AIPAC, bro, which is a huge Israeli lobbyist group, which they don't even have to register. In other words, the Israeli government does not play by any rules, bro. They pretty much tell you what they laugh at us, and we're supposed to be this world power, but they laugh at us. They're using us.
Well, I think that that's the most discouraging part. That no matter, there's nobody to cry to, there's nobody to complain to, there's no adults in the room as far as that.
Well, at least now the tide is turning where we can talk about this. Because a year ago, we couldn't talk about this, bro. Because worse than being a racist is anti-Semitic. Anytime you even, hey, you know what? Oh, anti-Semitic. Don't let them put that that anti-Semitic word was like, oh shit, that's the worst of the worst, bro. That's worse than being a racist, bro. It's No, it's not. I'm criticizing you just like I would criticize Donald Trump right now. I voted for that idiot, but I criticize the shit out of him. But I can't criticize Israel. They're not my fucking country. I don't vote for an Israel. But how many billions we sent to Israel? How much weapons do we send to Israel? People say, hey, Gil, we have other things to worry about. Okay, then stop sending the money. Stop fighting their wars. Yeah. Because that's what we're doing. We're fighting their... I saw this one meme was perfect. It was they're in a bar and there's a white guy drinking. He's like, hey, my best friend's right here. And they have a guy, Israeli guy. He's the one that's always starting fights, but I got to finish him. He's the one that... But I got to pay the tab. Israel has free insurance for everybody, bro. Yeah. We don't have free... We can't... We will not even discuss having universal insurance for Americans, but we're going to pay for their insurance? Yeah. We're going to pay for their retirement? What is this, bro? I don't get it. But to me, it's they've got a lot of smut on politicians. They pay off these politicians, and then once the politicians get elected, the Israelis, the same money the politicians are sending to them, are sending it back to. It's a big fund of money, and then if you go against them, they're gonna spend millions of dollars to get you off that seat, bro. Yeah. So pretty much, Israelis are the ones that are pushing to get Democrats and Republicans in. Yeah. How do you beat that? I don't know, but hopefully people will start opening their eyes more. And this thing they're doing in Gaza, it'll make people realize, wait a minute, these guys, they're not the good guys, bro. I'm not saying those other guys are the good guys, but those people are the innocent people. Yes. That's what I'm worried about.
And so the $1 million question, P, who'd you vote for?
I plead the fifth.
The Epstein fifth?
He's a Kamala. I would have for Trumpito, bro, but I did not vote for a lot of the stuff that's going on, especially with immigration. You know, did I think we need to have a tough border? Absolutely. I think we needed to close up the border a lot more. But as far as what's going on with ICE and all that, nah, bro, that's BS. Dude. You're going after people who aren't breaking the law. To me, go after the criminals, as they said they were going to go after. Go after the fool that got a warrant for rape, who came here illegally after, killing somebody, like stuff like that. But going after the guy at Home Depot, like, come on.
So tell us where you stand on all that, Pete.
I mean, it's a very touchy issue for me, the immigration issue. Not just from a business owner's perspective, and you work in construction. Like this country was built by immigrants. Everything, and we need them. Like, and it's they've made them out to be some kind of enemy. Are there bad apples in anything? Yeah, but it's always the majority of people are good people. And when I think about the Mexican culture, because I spent so much time there, with my tios, and how beautiful it is, the connection where we take care of our elders, we raise our kids, we work hard, and then they just discount all that. I really think America needs Latino culture. They wish it was like our culture, because we are real family. Like if you look at like the average American household, it's like, oh, we're gonna go tubing down the river and drinking beers and like that's not a culture. I
did it this weekend. Bro.
Well, bro,
that's the American CHOLO culture.
And I'm not bashing their culture, the American culture, but America was built with immigrants, and so it's a blending of these cultures, and it's a beautiful thing to live in Los Angeles. And you want Filipino food, it's right over there. You want some real Italian food, it's right over there. You want Salvadorian food, it's right over there.
And Mexicans are cooking it all.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, my mom came here illegally. She came here illegally with my older brother Victor. And my dad came from Hungary. He was in World War II. He was a freedom fighter, and he fought against the communists that were invading all of Europe. And so my dad had to leave because of he fought against the communists. And he spent some time in France, and then he moved to New York, and then he made his way to LA. And he came through asylum, like a political asylum, right. Like at that time, my dad told me that, rest in peace, he passed away a few years ago, that basically they said, hey, anyone that fought against the communists, and you're welcome to come. And so he came. So I have that perspective of somebody doing it the right way, they say, right. And my mom coming to seek a better life. There wasn't no opportunities there. So they meet, and we go through our lives, and then in the 80s, because of a conservative Republican president, Ronald Reagan granted amnesty to 3 million undocumented immigrants, my mom became a citizen.
Nice.
So, and what we need is Trump is really good at this. I heard him on some interview or something, right? It's like he talked, and people say how he markets things, right? It's like, you remember when he was saying that the Haitians are eating cats in Colorado?
They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs.
And then
eat the cats.
And it's like, they asked him, why does he say that if it's not true? And he goes, look, if I tell people there's a Haitian immigrant problem in Colorado, it doesn't make the news. But if I say they're eating cats, people pay attention.
Facts.
So, the one thing I've heard they say about Donald Trump is that he's a great marketer, right? Everything that comes out of his mouth. I was just watching this when they're asking him some Epstein questions about how Epstein was taking his workers from his spa in Mar-a-Lago, and he goes, yeah, he was taking them from my spa, and it's the greatest spa in the world, So like this fool just
he uses every opportunity to sell, bro.
It's crazy. And one of my mentors, we talk about this, and he practices something called power of the mind, right? And Trump's dad was part of, I can't remember exactly what the guy that they kind of followed, but it's we know is we know that and right, you guys know that our mind is our greatest weapon, and used correctly. So when you think about Trump, right, like in his world, he doesn't let anything like negative come into his world. Anytime there's something bad about him, oh, that's fake news. Yeah. Oh, that's fake news. Oh, that's fake. That's not true. So he runs through life in his mind. He is right about everything in his mind.
Yeah, in his crazy mind.
And so if you think about that, that powerful mind that he has, full of fucking garbage, but understanding what he understands, it made him the most powerful man in the world.
Yeah.
Because he understands the power of his mind. So that's what we're trapped in a program. We are been programmed by, we were talking about earlier, who our parents were, the schools we went to, the churches we went to. As I was going through life and we were going through life, there's pivot points. You meet this guy, and next thing you know, you're in his gang, or you meet this person, and they give you the right advice at the right time, and it pivots you. Like maybe when you were getting into concrete, you saw you met somebody who said, hey, bro, you should get in this concrete business, bro. There's a lot of money in it. And you're like, oh, let me check that out. And you go this way. So, as we go through life, we have these pivot points where we meet certain people and we go in certain directions.
Absolutely, but now my mom used to sell dope to the guys, and so I got out of jail. She's like, hey, give this guy a job. Yeah, so right now we're going to take a small break and pay some bills here to our sponsors. So, Chris, take it away. All right, people, we need your support. This channel exists because you believe in our stories. We're not funded by big corporations. We're not bought by special interests. We're independent, for the people, by the people. And we're here to speak the truth of our communities across the country. Every story we bring to you about injustices, about our culture, about what's really going on in our neighborhood is powered by us, and hopefully now by you. We're asking every single viewer who values what we're doing here to help us stay independent. If just a few of you would donate $2 to $5, it'll make a huge difference. It's easy. You could send support through Venmo, Cash App, or Zelle. Your donation doesn't just keep the lights on, it keeps our voices strong. We're not just another YouTube channel. We're your news, we're your platform, we're your movement. So if you rock with us, if you believe in independent Latino media, drop $2, $3, or $5 today. Thank you so much for watching, supporting, and standing with us. We're just getting started. Let's grow together.
Are you dealing with a busted pipe, clogged drain, or no hot water? Don't stress. Call the pros at Rockstar Plumbing in Chatsworth. Our licensed and insured team handles it all. Fast, clean, and reliable. From leak repairs to full water heater installs, we've got you covered. Trusted by your neighbors and rated 5 stars across the valley. Call now, 818-814-3044, or find us online. Rockstar Plumbing. We don't just fix pipes, we rock them.
All right, guys, you guys know the American Cholo platform is here to inform, motivate, and educate. And in today's turbulent times, a criminal record or a bad tattoo can leave a long-lasting mark on your future. That's why we are giving back. We are now offering adult criminal record expungement and free tattoo removal, exclusively for Los Angeles residents. Don't let your past define your future. Reach out to Bruno Hernandez at bruno@stpla.org and take the first step towards a fresh start. Thank you and God bless.
Do you need a tattoo but don't know where to go? Thinking about having your homie do a homemade one? Hey, let me stop you right there. Tattoos are permanent, people. Let the pros handle it. Go see our friends down at SoCal Tattoo. The address, 6000 Reseda Boulevard, Unit M, Tarzana, California, 91356. The phone number, 818-578-6562. Once again, 818-578-6562. And tell them American Cholo sent you.
All right, welcome back, everyone. We're going to touch on a little bit of current events, little hot topics. I know I thought of you right away, Gil, when I heard Kamala Harris is not running for governor.
Oh, you signed me that, bro. I said, great news, bro.
What does that mean? What do you think's next for her?
OnlyFans, maybe? Maybe OnlyFans? Chris will pay $5 to see that shit, bro. Kamala Harris, I believe she's going to get a private job for a big, huge type of firm, because that's usually what those politicians do, because she still has connections. She was the vice president of the United States, especially if you have a Democrat come in here and win. Eventually a Democrat will win the presidency. So her political career is over. I mean, she is just not that type of person to be a politician. I mean, she got put in there for the vice president to be like, okay, but like right now with JD Vance, you can tell JD Vance can't run for president, bro. He can sit there and duke it out with somebody and really have it. With her, you just can't teach that, bro. She was probably a great prosecutor, great at doing her job like that. But as far as a straight politician, she doesn't seem to really stand on anything. And you can tell by all the interviews she did. So to me, I predict that she will just work for a private firm, go around and do speaking places at Harvard for $50,000 here, $40,000. I think Obama was getting like 150 racks, and just put her on the board of something. If Hunter Biden could make millions of dollars for working for this company, that's what she's gonna do. But I don't see her running for anything anytime soon.
And what does it do for the governor race?
I think it's a good thing, because now she's completely out of it, which lets other people kind of look at it and say, okay, now there's a real viable thing, because people were scared she was going to get in, but I don't think she would have really got the backing the money. I mean, they gave her $1 billion for the presidency, and she was upside down $22 million, bro. And also, the governor's race is gonna be tough for. I just don't see a Republican winning, even though, believe it or not, I kind of would like a Republican in there. I think Trump destroyed that chance by doing all that ICE stuff he was doing. I think if Trump wouldn't have pushed up on that ICE situation, I think it would have been a perfect time for a Republican or conservative person to come to California and say, listen, man, it's all great to be like Peter and have a huge heart and believe that we can solve the problems of America by hugging the way out of this, but we can't hug our way out of crime. We can't hug our way out of addiction. We can't hug our way out of homelessness, and we can't hug our way out of other corruptions going on with all this money, with all this nonprofits and all that stuff. Does some nonprofits do great things? Yes, but the majority of money that has been spent, $20 billion in 5 years, is probably more by now, and not in housing. Bro, we could have put $20 million in each hood, and actually made a difference with these young kids. So it's going to be interesting. I think by the beginning of next year, you're going to start seeing who's really going to be in there. But I think for sure, Chad Bianco is going to be one of the top runners for the Republican side. And I'm not sure about the Democratic side yet, bro. I think that's still up in the air. Katie, what's her name? Porter?
Yeah,
Orange County. She didn't do too bad last time, but
she's a great fundraiser, and she's got a lot of strong connections.
Yeah, and she got money.
So you're not endorsing anybody yet?
No, I'm not endorsing it. It is way too soon to tell.
Yeah, what do you think, Pete?
You guys choosing politics and religion. These are tough subjects to address. Politics, because how divisive it is.
Oh, yes.
Everyone, opinions are free. Everyone has them, and it's so polarized that there's no convincing anyone to come this way or go that way. My take on Kamala Harris, I had voted for Biden that time, because I'm in the center, man. I'm right dead in the center. I think everyone should be independent. When I hear someone like a hardcore MAGA Trumper and anything that Trump does is right, you're believing in a human that makes errors, like everything he does is not right. And
fake news.
And then, and everything on the left, like when you go all the way to the left, like so liberal where it's okay for men to play in women's sports, like it's just like, okay, this is crazy, right? So I think everyone should be in the middle, because I tend to lean sometimes, for economic and business reasons. I go Republican, and for my bleeding heart, I'll go to the left.
Both policy, bro.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we say too. Both
Everyone
policy.
should be open-minded. You shouldn't, be closed to things. So here's my take on Kamala Harris. Okay, so as it was becoming apparent that Biden was comatose and he couldn't.
It took Jake Tapper to write his book for us to really know, bro.
It was scary. And then I would sometimes, because I like to stay on top of things, I would hear like, who's the guy on Fox News that, I can't remember his name. Who was the famous guy? Not Tucker Carlson, the other guy. Anyways.
Fox, Bill O'Reilly, Tucker
Yeah,
Carlson.
Bill O'Reilly.
Hannity,
that guy.
Right.
So he would say like, yeah, he was getting reports that like Biden was like, at night they'd give him a sippy cup, and I was like, man, these guys, they're just making up shit, like, and then I was like, and when we started seeing him come out, when he would, he was just basically, staring into nothing. And then going into that debate with Trump, I was like, I knew, Trump didn't even take any prep time, right? And this fool, Biden, they put him in that wherever he goes to retreat, and he had 2 weeks of no contact. Camp David, and they were like prepping this fool, right? And I was like, man, this is gonna go bad. Like everyone knew, right? And so everyone tuned in to see the show, and it was what we thought. Yeah. What we thought it was, and so Kamala Harris was complicit in that.
Yes,
they knew that he was just not the guy to run, and they sold out, to just to keep that seat, and it's just unforgivable for me.
Yeah, they should have. He should have stepped down originally and let them have a runoff, because what they did, they just handed over to Kamala Harris. And that was a losing ticket. Like, I mean, off the top, where you could say her, and then she would not separate herself from Joe Biden. She should have sat there and said, you know what? I think he did wrong. But she had to throw him under the bus in order to get points. Yes. And it was a debacle at the border, but then she couldn't say that because she was the border czar. Even though, no, she wasn't the border czar. You literally said she's the border czar. There was so much stuff, but. Right now, you can see it on both sides, just the lies and the hypocrisy. Right now, I see that with the Epstein files with the Trump administration. What do you mean there's nothing there, bro? What do you mean it doesn't exist? Like, come on. Both sides take us for fools and believe that whatever they say we're going to believe. And that may have worked 20 years ago, but now where you have so much independent media that doesn't get paid by these big corporations, before it was, all right, you're going to push this. Whether you're Murdoch on the Fox or where you're on CNN, they both get their playbook. This is what you're gonna play. And then since you've seen a lot of those big hosts get canned from those places, start their own places, and are being very successful, they're pushing real fucking news, because journalism is dead in America, bro. Right now, it's whatever we give you, you're gonna say, and that's not journalism. Journalism is we're gonna look into it, see what's wrong. All the journalists that were on the left, nothing's wrong with Joe Biden. I'm like, dude, we're watching the guy. The guy is not all there. He's walking around like, where do I? Come on. Like, it was sad, bro, but that was our president. Somebody asked about, what do I believe about Gavin Newsom? Does Gavin Newsom have a shot at the presidency? Yes. I'm not going to say he's not. Why? Because he's a good-looking guy, bro. He's got the hair. He's got the smile. He'll tell you, Chris, man, listen, Chris, we're going to do this. We're going to do that. And Americans have a very short memory. If Donald Trump comes out in the next 3 years when he's gonna take off, and the economy's not doing well, eggs are through the roof, gas prices are through the roof. Like really, all that stuff. This fool can come in there and sweet talk people to him. But if everything's going somewhat well, I think JD Vance will walk all over him. But could he still possibly get the nominee? Yeah, he could get the nominee, but I just don't see him winning if I was betting on that.
And so you mentioned, Pete, that sometimes you vote based off of your business interests. I had heard that you had a couple of challenges with the unhoused population at your old business. So
like the homeless?
Yeah. How do you feel about what Trump did now with his new directive? And as a matter of fact, here in Van Nuys, they started clearing out the biggest encampment left in L.A.
You know, everyone knows the answer. You know, it's to get to the root of the problem, drug addiction, you know, mental issues, and no one has a plan to do it. You know, so it's very sad to see. You know, because you know, and a lot of us are big animal lovers. You know, like you find a special love with me in particular, like dogs, right? Like a lot of people. Oh man, brother, they changed my life. They changed my life. They made me a better person. They made me understand what unconditional love is.
Unconditional love,
it's
yes.
just beautiful. You know, so when I see a dog, you know, like my big goal in life is, you know, right now I'm running my business, I'm building it, and I've built and sold businesses before, you know, took them, you know, to 8 figures, and I understand business, you know, and it's a lot of fun. My big goal is to start a rescue for dogs in Tijuana, Mexico, where I rescued my main dog from my dog Canelo. He's one of the reasons I stopped drinking. He helped me stop drinking because he's a Belgian Malinois. I don't know if you're familiar with. It's like a kind of German Shepherd. They're
Did he bite you or something?
They're most every cop dog you see, it's a cop dog. It's a working dog. A Belgian Malinois. It's that's the breed that caught Osama bin Laden. That jumped out of the helicopter. He ran and he got shot. I think his name is Cato, and he passed away, but that dog got a lot of recognition. But that's what a Belgian Malinois was. So when my wife brought this dog, rescued this dog from TJ, we snuck him across. You know? He was
illegal.
Yeah, Trump, you better not get my dog Canelo, motherfucker. Fuck. You know, we had never had a dog, and I remember my wife called me from there. Hey, you know, there's this dog. He's gonna end up on the street, and I'm like, what kind of dog is it? You know, I'd never really had a dog, and she's like, oh, it's a Pastor Belga, and I was like, what the? And I Googled it, and it said, Belgian Malinois Pastor Belga. If this is your first dog, do not get this dog because they're working dogs. They need a lot of
they got energy,
brother. It's crazy, and so that dog got me up every morning to walk him, and every step I took, it made me a stronger person, because what I would do in those walks is I would listen to books. And, you know, and at that time, you know, this is going on 5 years ago, or whatever, I lost 87 pounds. You know, I was extremely overweight, alcoholic, and every time that we walked, it got longer and longer. And then the walk started 8 miles, it started getting to 10 miles, 12 miles. Like we would do these amazing hikes and walks, and I owe so much to that dog, and so, you know, my ultimate goal is to give back to that.
That's
you know?
That is a cool story, bro. Heck yeah. So what else you got in the top topics over there?
All right. So tell us, with the 818 Via ties, what do you think about the New York shooter traveling cross country?
That guy, he definitely had mental problems. They said that it was already recorded by doctors.
But not CTE, right?
Well, you can't know somebody has CTE until you go into their brain.
Yeah. Well, I saw that they interviewed his football coach, and he said the only injury he had was an ankle injury.
No, I think he just had mental problems because he's blaming the NFL. He never played for the NFL and all that. But he truly believed it because he shot himself in the chest,
fantasy
bro.
Football. Right? He hurt himself.
But the crazy part is, too, everybody he talked to said he was a great guy, bro.
Yeah.
Say he was a great guy. He just lost his marbles somewhere along the line. But he truly believed he had that because he shot himself in the chest. Kind of like what Junior Seau did with the shotgun right in the chest. So he truly believed it. My biggest concern of that whole thing is when somebody gets diagnosed, where is the safe switch that goes to the feds that says, hey, this guy has some registered guns. We need to get these guns away from this guy.
He bought the gun off of his homie.
No, I don't know if they said he had some legal weapons. So I don't know. I don't think they ever said that they took him away from him. The M16, he did buy from his homie. Yeah, so he's gonna go through some years. I think they're gonna say, hey, this fool's off his rocker. But if he still possessed some legal guns, I think that's a problem. They need to look into that, bro. As soon as somebody gets diagnosed with that, there should be a mechanism that says, hey, just like when you go to the hospital with a gunshot wound, they report it to the cops. Hey, this guy, like the psychiatrist or whoever, hey, this guy's got some issues, bro. We need to tell the cops.
So I think that's always my concern. Obviously, even though I lean left, obviously I'm super pro Second Amendment, and I don't know. You know, they say any infringement is illegal when it comes to the Second Amendment. I don't know. What do you think, Pete? You think it's the right conversation to have about gun control, or is it a mental health, or is it that he just lived at home with his mama?
I mean, you know, on this issue, I'm like right in the middle. You know, like I see it works. You know, having guns works. You know, yes. For protection. And then I see what's going on in Gaza, and I see what weapons do, and what's going on in Ukraine, and the horror that it inflicts. I don't know the solution to it. So on this issue, like I'm just kind of torn, you know.
So do you think that it was maybe something related to, again, and I know from the outside, do you think it was more like mental health, substance abuse type stuff? Or do you think that it's, like to Gil's point, should we have caught that? Is there even a way to catch it?
I mean, you know, we're all crazy. You know, the whole, everyone is crazy.
It's true. It's true.
And, you know, and a lot of us have, you know, ups and downs. And, you know, I think we're starting to talk about that. Like, my life has been full of ups and downs. I mean, you know, and there is, you know, in certain philosophies, there's the polarity of it, right? The only way for you to have, to feel the ultimate happiness is you have had to felt the ultimate sadness. Like, if you're just happy all the time, you don't know what it's like to be sad. Yeah. You don't even understand happiness or sadness. So those times that, you know, me personally, like I've been in deep depressions, dark places where I had a gun to my head and I shot that fucking thing, and by the grace of God, the gun fucking moved, and I ended up shooting. I was arrested for discharge of a firearm in an inhabited home. Right. And I remember when the cops came and they put me in the back of the cop car, and you know, I was successful in people's eyes. I owned a business, you know, I owned multiple homes, and I had a wife, I had kids, and, you know, as he was driving me to the station, he pulls over, and I'll never forget this cop. I wish I could remember his name or find him, but it'd just be too difficult. But he pulled over, and then I'm in the back of the cop car. I just tried to commit suicide, I guess, you know, and he was like, "What are you doing, man?" He goes, "Man, you've got a beautiful home. You know, you look like you got your shit together. Like, why would you want to kill yourself?" And I go, "Brother, like, I'm just in a lot of pain." I was starting to go through a divorce at that time. And the thought of losing my family and combining that with drinking was a deadly combination. So, and he goes, "Look, man, I'm going to tell you something." He goes, I could get fired for telling you this, but I'm going to be straight with you. He goes, like, "I've been where you've been. I've thought about suicide, and I was suicidal." And he goes, "I got treatment, I got help, and I thought there was no way out." And he goes, "Look, man, it's peaks and valleys." He goes, "Right now you're just in a valley, brother, but there's going to be another peak. You're going to climb back up." He's like, "Once all this settles, man," like, he goes, "the time of you wanting to commit suicide is such a short window. Like, you're only in that place to harm yourself for like a minute, like where you're able, like, you know what, I just can't take this anymore. But it'll pass. Like, everything passes." And
as it did. So, you know, what he just gave me the advice. He just like, "Look, man," he goes, "Look, give me your word that you will not do that again. You won't do that." And I go, something he said, the way he served it to me, I was like, "All right, man." I go, "I'm not going to do that again." And that was an angel, that man, that police officer. And that's, you know, why I wanted to come here when you guys asked me to, is to, you know, maybe, you know, you're going to meet all these people, and people are going to, you know, they're, you know, even going back to social media, what you were saying, how, you know, like, I'll tend to log on the news, and then there'll be a story of like this bird that was almost extinct, and they brought it back, and it's thriving in some forest, right? And I'll be like, I need some dopamine. Give me some, you know, some drama, you know, like, and it's like,
people love the drama, you know, people love the negativity because it invokes like this a feeling, you know, like a rush of my opinion. No, that's right, that's wrong. And so, yeah, I don't know kind of where I kind of went off topic here, but,
No, but that was really a really powerful story.
for
And
sure.
I think that's kind of where all of us from the outside looking in, you ask yourself, how do you get in the car? And you would think, to your point, by the time you drive across the country, you would have calmed down.
No, he had major mental health. Major. He had
yeah,
major
so he had major mental health issues. So, you know, so getting back to that point that we're all a little crazy, you know, and it's okay to have these thoughts because we do, but acting on them is something else. So for him to have done that, I mean, yeah.
he was broken at that point.
And, you know, the thing about like mental health, like even me saying this story, right? A lot of people don't want to talk about it because it makes you seem weak. You know, that you are a failure, that people don't want to like be honest, you know, and that's what's missing. It's like with social media, especially, everyone puts their best face out there. They don't want to talk about the real stuff, you know, the real stuff that's going on.
But then when you get those people, they're like annoying. The people that are always complaining or always.
Yeah, well, you know, it's you know, I think it's like the only way that there's going to be change is unplugging yourself from it all. And you know, it's like when I think about alcoholism, because it's, you know, you talk to anybody, like the Russians say, oh yeah, vodka, we all drink vodka. Like the Irish, oh, we're all alcoholics. Like every country says like there's a major alcohol problem in this world. And being a Latino here, or half Latino, right? But growing up Latino here in Los Angeles, you know, everything is a reason to drink. You know, the little nephew Juan's 5-year-old birthday party, everyone's getting hammered. You know, like whatever, shots. It's like there's always an occasion, like the Raiders are playing. Okay, let's drink. You know, like
Thursday. It's almost Friday.
I remember back when I was hardcore in my alcoholism, and you know, like I said, people would look at my life and be like, oh, he works, he's got a business,
He's got it going on.
But secretly, like, you know, that there was hidden, you know, challenges going on. So I remember when the Showtime Lakers were playing like Kobe Bryant and Shaq, and they were making those long runs into the playoffs and winning championships. I remember I would tell my friend Mondo, I'd be like, bro, fuck, I don't know if my liver can take another championship.
On the playoffs, yes.
Because it was every time, it was like we drink, you know, and the way we drank, brother, you know, because we did it before. It's
I
like
know the real, bro.
It's we don't stop. It goes till you pass out. Like that's just it. So it was like as it will go deeper into a series, like a 7-game series. I was like, fuck, this is gonna go to 7 games. I'm gonna fucking die. You know, and then they win the championship. I gotta go to the parade. I gotta get fucked up over there. It's like, you know, so it's embedded in our culture. Tequila, you know, take shots, drinking, bucana. And it's like, we are programmed to think that the only way to have a good time is to drink.
You know what? I definitely agree with you. And before I go on, thank you for sharing with that, bro, because that helps you, as you already know when you share your stuff about your story, like about almost committing suicide, and that helps people that are listening, because I guarantee you somebody's gonna listen to this like, oh shit, dude, you're not alone. There's a lot of, you know, people go through some dark times, bro, and they think they're all alone and nobody's been there. You've seen many of movie stars who these guys are multimillionaires, got all the attention, and there's just something missing in their life, and that's what happens. As far as the drinking, I think this generation is by far the worst generation as far as health goes. I'm 50 years old, bro, and I'm in better shape, and I'm not really in great shape. I'm in better shape of 90% of these fucking rappers out there, bro. The Latino rappers especially, bro. It's like, damn, bro, have you ever done a push-up? Like, seriously, a lot of guys nowadays, and it's sad. It's almost like they want to flaunt it. This is what, but no, it's like health with our community, bro. It's bad, bro. Our health is really going downhill very quick.
Well, you know, and that's another thing. Like, even like eating food, like, man,
yes.
you know, we all know it, man. The Mexican food is the best. You know, Latino food in general. I love Cuban food too.
Chicharrones,
chicharrones, like everything, right?
yuca.
And so it's become like okay as far as from what I know. My family in Mexico and in the culture, it's okay to be unhealthy and it's okay to be an alcoholic. And as soon as you break out of that, I remember, like, I'm the weird one now because I don't drink. Like, oh, something must be wrong with him. Like, why he can't handle his liquor? Like, what's wrong with him? Like, you become the outcast because you decided, you woke up and saw alcohol for what it is. It's poison. And I was hearing Jordan Peterson talk about it the other day on some podcast or something, but he was saying, 65% of all violent crimes are done when someone is under the influence of alcohol. The craziest shit I've done in my life is when I've been drinking. Like, man, I mean, the stories, it's like, we all have them. You wake up and it's like, and if, I don't care. I don't care if you think you're a good drinker. You have those times when you wake up and you're full of regret and shit that you said to your wife or your girlfriend or your husband, shit you did, you flirted with somebody you shouldn't have. It's another amplifier. Just like money amplifies, alcohol amplifies too.
Sure. And real quick, shout out to Lonnie Cruz. He says he got 15 years sober. I personally, I could really relate, Pete, to the 15 years. I hit 15 years in January. And to your point, I remember I got sober New Year's Eve, January 1st, 15 years ago. And I remember thinking to myself, I told myself, I'm going to drink again. I'm just going to slow down because things are rough. Things are really bad for me. So I remember exactly what you said. Super Bowl Sunday came and I got past it and I was like, okay, I made Super Bowl Sunday. And then to your point, the next, again, the Lakers and, you start going down the road and you're like, wait a second, now I have 3 months in and then you have 6 months in. And then after but not a day goes by, I don't think about drinking.
Yeah.
But again, I always felt like I eliminated that pressure by saying one day I'm going to drink again. So I'm not letting anybody down, not even myself, because I'll be back. But 15 years later, greatest decision that I ever made.
Yeah, when I meet friends like that tell me, no, fool, I'm not drinking, I'm like, congrats. Like, to me, I'm like, that's fucking dope. Did you lose friends because you stopped drinking?
Oh, yeah. Lost friends, because we're fixers. You're a fixer too, because you're an entrepreneur. We fix things, we build things, and so I would fuck up on my wife or something at that time, and then I would go to an AA meeting. I'd show her, look, hey, I'm trying to get fat, and then boom, I'd go back into the routine, and I stopped and I quit drinking so many times. I would tell you, this is it, I'm stopping, and it got to a really sad point where my kids didn't believe me. Oh, Dad just says that, like, oh, he's gonna drink, and so, when I finally had enough, when I built myself enough internally to understand what it was, and I decided to stop drinking. I knew what I had to do. First of all, I had to set myself, and this is advice for anyone that wants to get out of that, is set yourself a realistic goal, like Bruno was saying. I said, you know what, I'm not going to drink for 1 year. That's going to be my goal, 1 year. And I'm going to build accountability. And there was a guy named Mike Trudeau. I love Mike, by the way. But he was my drinking partner. And so our company at that time was in Chatsworth. And what we would do is every day at lunch, we would go to Los Toros. We'd have 2 Cadillac margaritas. Papa Nick's. And it was, I know it's a younger crowd maybe, but there was a show called Cheers where the guy Norm would walk in and we would walk in the door and they would already go, and then we would sit down and there'd be the 2 Papa Nick's ready, and then we chow down 2 of those for lunch, go back to work.
That was a routine.
And what I come to realize is like, look, I was doing a disservice to people that knew me because they're like, oh, look, you can be successful and drink. But it was all a lie, because what it really did, it held me back from being to my ultimate potential, which was being clear-minded, being healthy, making the right decisions. So when I stopped drinking, my whole life changed. My business went through the roof. I think we were doing at the time when I was still drinking, $5 million in sales, gross sales a year. And then within 2 years, we were at 15 million. Wow. Because now I was there, I was sharp. I wasn't hungover like the hangovers, brother. I do not miss. It was every Monday, all my employees knew Pete's going to be quiet, because I would just be in there I'd be in work because I'm a worker. We're Latinos. That's what we know. We show up, man. We're there on time. But I would be super quiet because inside I was dying, man.
And then I need another beer to fix the cruda.
Yeah.
And here we go again.
Yes,
The week starts,
sir. The week starts.
And that transition to the last subject we want to touch on was Gilbert Arenas. Gilbert Arenas, it's funny. I lived on Whitsett in Oxnard, and he actually lived diagonal from me. He lived right next to that little deli.
Over here?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he went to Grant High.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And I remember when he went to Grant High, so some of my homies used to play with them, and they used to tell me, that guy's going to the NBA. They would tell me, remember Gilbert Arenas. So fast forward, I'm out in the Bay Area as a district manager for a store out there, and he would come in and ask for discounts all the time when he was a rookie for Golden State. But he had a baby blue Escalade when they first came out when he got into the league, and he would want to shoot dice and gamble with our workers. And I would think to myself, like, this guy's in the NBA. Like, what is he doing shooting dice in Oakland? You know, like,
And asking for discounts.
and asking for discounts. And so I followed like his career, and I always, again, obviously he doesn't know me, but I would think like, that's my neighbor, that's my boy, you know, like, and if I ever see him,
Hometown.
he did know, he won't remember, but if I remind him of shooting dice, you know,
I
all
remember
that, like,
that story.
yeah. So when I saw the story yesterday, I think, like that, it's a great question. It made me think of our conversation here, because again, like thinking about, the man made $168 million over his career from the NBA. $168 million. Last they were reporting that his net worth was down to like 10, 15 million, right? So I was thinking to myself, like, what happens? And I know all of us, all three of us here have lost a lot of money. We've been up, we've been down. And I was thinking, like, hey, like, is there ever enough? And what do you think, in your opinions, are the biggest pitfalls that you continue to see within our culture with money? Because again, all of us, I know you got a great job. You've invested in a lot of different things. You're able to do a lot of things. Obviously, you've seen a lot. What do you think?
I think it's the culture, bro. With us and the brothers, we have a very beautiful culture, but there's a other side of it that's very toxic. That's like, you know, keep it real in the hood. Like, you've got some guys who are millionaires and still want that hood recognition, still want to be known to shooting the dice, playing the games, you know. Kind of like, I guess a perfect example is which was the guy from the Patriots that ended up getting murdered?
Aaron Hernandez.
Hernandez,
Yeah.
millionaire, bro, top team, top player, and wants to still be, some guy bumped me and I'm gonna kill him.
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah,
Like,
he was sick in the head.
But
Yeah.
that's just that mentality. And it's, I think what's the name is a great song if anybody's ever heard it, man. Ice Cube, Hood Mentality, bro. And that's what we have in our culture. We have a hood mentality, which people can be rich and it still doesn't take that mentality out of you. You got to break it. We're like, wait a minute, man. Fuck if that guy told me to go fuck myself. Unless he's in my space, then I'm going to protect myself for what it is. But it's like, oh, hell no. Nobody's going to punk me. I'm going to get my gun. I'm going to go. Bro, you're a millionaire, bro. You don't need to do that anymore. But it's like we still need that. We're still that young kid sometimes looking for that recognition and making sure nobody punks us, nobody this. Whereas people with money that know how to handle it, that's if we ain't talking about money, don't even talk to me, bro. And with him, I think it was just a quick money deal. I'm sure, allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
I'm sure he allegedly made good money out of it, renting his place out and all that. All that money that he made, even though I think he did wrong by coming out, doing that Instagram and laughing. It's like the feds are looking like, all right, you want to laugh? Whether they really get him on charges, I think it was old charges. It was like 2011 or something. Somebody must have lost a poker game somewhere, and they said, "Fuck this guy." That's what it had to be, bro. But what it's gonna do, it's gonna cost them millions in attorney fees.
But do you think after, you know how before when the feds would get you, they had this crazy, what is it, 98, 99% conviction rate?
The feds still have that, and they keep it even with Diddy. Think about it. Even with Diddy, even though they didn't get him for the main one, they still convicted him. So their record is still 98%.
Right.
But I don't think it holds that much time for that. I really believe that somebody who has some kind of juice, some kind of power, got ganked at one of these poker games. These poker games, I'm sure, go up to the 100,000s where they were playing, right? 50,000. Somebody lost their money, or somebody felt they got cheated at that game and got punked by, maybe not him exactly, but somebody in his house. And they said, okay, you want to fuck with my money? I'm going to fuck with yours now. Yeah. Now they're going to investigate him. It's going to cost them at least $1 million or $2 million in attorney fees, bro.
And what do you think, Pete? What do you think the biggest money mistakes that you keep seeing our culture make, our community make?
Well, for I guess for Latinos, because, you know, I've been a contractor, so I've worked with, you know, the real workers, the paisas, you know, that are out there digging the ditches and you know, laying out the bricks and all that. And, you know, and on all different levels. And now it just in manufacturing, you know, like businesses like mine, like where we actually make things is rare and it getting rarer. And it's like the kids today, they don't want to work in a warehouse. They don't want to run a machine. They want to make money on YouTube. You know, that's, I want to be a gamer. I want to be a streamer. I want to,
Influence.
Yeah, like, so we do have a problem even with hiring people. Like we have to basically take people and train them. Like older people, young people don't want to do it anymore. But as far as like the mindset of Latinos, like we have the mindset of we are workers. We love to work. Work is so fulfilling. I think work, I personally believe, and I think we all can agree, is like work makes life beautiful. If you go back 400 years, like you had to work or you would die. Like there was no fucking sitting on the couch like fucking pouting, I'm depressed and I'm gonna watch fucking TV and eat bonbons and shit.
You ain't eating.
You had to fucking go out and fucking plant some shit, go kill some shit, go fucking get the water from the river. Like, so
Our swimming pool.
Yeah. Generally, and I think anyone can agree, is it that we're becoming weak. We're becoming very dependent on so who stays strong is the hard workers like the Latinos, right? But the thing is the world is changing. The world is becoming digital, and it is becoming robotic, and it is becoming visual. So in time, give it 100 years, there's going to be robots digging those ditches. Oh, yeah. There's not going to be the need for hard labor anymore. It's going to be done for us. So what I really think is our Latino culture, what we need to do is we need to start transitioning from thinking bigger, going to school and learning about AI or, computer technology, or just thinking bigger. Like we think so small, like I want to work Monday through Friday. I got a cool job. And then on the weekend comes, I'm going to go fucking a los bailes and drink bucanas and pick up gainas and
watch the Dodgers.
Watch the Dodgers, the Raiders.
Raiders suck.
And just then you're broke again on Monday, and it's this cycle. And I live that cycle. I'm sure we all did. And it's fun. It feels fun, but it's not gonna make you anything. You're not gonna make an impact in the world. You're gonna live and you're gonna die. You get. I was on this website the other day, and it's interesting. I'm 54, and you put in your age, and then the average expectancy is like of a man, I think is 76 or something. Yeah, 76. And it tells you how many minutes you have left, how many weekends you have left, how many summers you have left, and it's fucking terrifying, right? Because then it puts it in perspective. Like in the Stoic philosophy, there's a couple of tenets, right? And one of them is called amor fati, right? To love your fate. And the other one is called memento mori. Memento mori means literally remember death. Like the Stoics, the Stoic philosophers, they remember death every day. Like, so you know what you do? You make the most out of your day. You do the most. Like, don't waste it like doing dumb shit. That one book I said, the 4 agreements, there's only 4 agreements to fucking live a successful life. I mean, come on. The 4th agreement is always do your best. Now, it's very like, I call it like, I see a lot on the internet, like people say a lot of basic bitch philosophy. It's like, do your best, give it your all. Like, it's not that, man. It's like, if you spend your day hustling, working, being a great father, being a great, husband, a great, you do everything. There's a saying I like, even like that the hood says, right? Like the way we do anything is the way we do everything, man. Everything's at 100%. So if you give 100% to your day, you're still not going to get everything done. You're still going to fail. You're still going to make mistakes. But when you lay down your head at night and you've actually done that 4th agreement and you've done your best, that sleep is the most fulfilling, because you say, you know what, I gave it all today, and I can't do anymore, and I'm gonna crash.
It's a satisfying feeling, bro. It really is. Just working, taking care of business, and not everybody though can be a business owner. Not everybody can handle that. Just because there's different type of, like with people at work. I'd be having that conversation with my boy Stefan all the time. Like, Gil, what's up with that guy? I said, Stefan, he's maxed out, bro. He's like, what do you mean maxed out? I said, how there's iPhone 24? He's like, yeah. He's a Nokia fucking 94, bro. There's just certain guys that weren't made to go to that level. But even that guy can have a very successful life because he can work, take care of business, and have successful kids, bro. And I think that's what it is. I think the chiste, especially of the United States, is the chiste is you want your kids to have a better life than you're having. The only issue right now, especially in California, is it's very tough for your kids to have a better life because of how expensive it is out here, bro.
But I think you set a great example. I think when Peter got here, and right away, he mentioned what you do for work. I think that's really dope. The way you're constantly like showing your work, where you.
Oh, man.
Here we go. Yeah, go ahead.
Hotline. It is the world famous, the world renowned, known. Oh, I even got a picture of him in the phone, Chris. You got to email it to yourself. You'll see it in the phone. Alabama, Mexican. What's good?
Wait, real quick, Bama, before you start, just so you know, it's because of you that we brought Peter on here.
It is?
Yeah, you had mentioned that you wanted more business owners that ran, Latino business owners that ran multi-million-dollar businesses that aren't full of themselves. So here he is. We brought this just for you, Bama.
Thank you. I've been listening. What product do you make and sell?
He has about 20 strip joints that he runs all up and down Southern California.
Right there in the valley?
No, Bama. Go ahead and tell
We make custom packaging. So we make boxes, labels, and Mylar bags. So, we manufacture these things, and we mostly work with co-packers. And, in life, right? Like let's just say, Gil's, your main hustle is concrete, right?
Yes.
And guess what he's doing? He's doing this. He's doing this podcast, right? So, like for me, printing has always been my main hustle. In 19, I started my first business. Wasn't my first business, but my first printing business. I started in 1999 after my friend passed away. And at that time, the computer was becoming user friendly. I remember the first iMacs, those little bubble ones, had just come out, and so because we were graffiti artists, we used the mouse as an extension of our hands, and we started drawing on the computer, and we got into graphic design, and that's how my career in printing took off. And so my whole career I've done printing, and I've been able to do all these other things, right? Attempt other things, like other businesses. I actually started during my printing career. I started a landscaping business because I got pissed off at my gardener. As an entrepreneur, look, if you want to start a business, the first thing you have to do is this, man. Like Gil was saying, is you got to do it, man. If you just take one small step every day towards a goal, right? You have this idea, right? Those little steps that you take every day turn into big steps in a month. If you've done one thing, just research. Look at the beautiful thing about the internet is dude, it's on YouTube. You want to fucking build a house? Dude, you can go on YouTube. It'll tell you how to do everything. You can do it yourself. And so I'll give you examples of ideas that pop in my head, right? As an entrepreneur, my daughter up in San Francisco ran the San Francisco Marathon last weekend, and me and my wife drove up there. And then as she was getting ready for the marathon, she put on these socks that the sock goes into the little fingers,
Yes.
And then I'm like, oh, okay, let me start researching that. Oh, okay, dude, I'm gonna come out with a brand. I'm gonna start selling these socks, and I'm gonna and I started researching. I started going on Alibaba, and I started. So you see things that are needed in the marketplace, and then but you have to take action towards it. And so, the other day, I like to work out, and I take creatine, and then so creatine gummies are being real popular, and so. We work with a co-packer in Oklahoma, and then so I tell her, I'm like, hey, you know what? So what would it cost me to make 150,000 creatine gummies? Because I'm gonna do the and so I'm pushing that, I'm pushing this, but my main hustle is always the printing. And so what I did learn about the landscaping thing is, and this is advice I'm going to give to you, is look, everyone is gifted with a certain thing, right? So my thing is printing, graphics, sales. And so when I got into the landscaping thing, it was out of my realm. It was so fucking out of my realm that when I did it, I grew that business. I did a $100,000 project up here in Encino or whatever. And I hated it. I didn't like it. I didn't like being outside. The only thing I liked about landscaping is going to the nurseries and being around the plants and learning the names of all the plants and how they grow and designing the landscapes. We're gonna plant ground cover here, and we're gonna plant some ficus over here. And I like that part of it. Everything else I hated.
Hey, Pete, you gotta let Bama cook.
Okay, sorry, Bama cook, brother.
Bama, you gotta cook.
Hey, look at Bama. Hold on, we're gonna show you a picture right here, bro. We finally got a picture of Alabama in the building. Give us a second there. Oh no, that's Alabama right there, bro.
Well, good for you, brother.
There he is, right there, Bama.
Sorry to go railing off there. I just like to help, you know?
Yeah, you're gonna have like I think you got like a 30-second delay over there, but that's Alabama. Allegedly, bro.
That looks like the young paisa. It looks like
that's the picture he sent me, bro. But I don't know, that girl to your left looks underage, Bama. I'm a little scared.
They got him in alligator Alcatraz or what?
What's good, though, Bama?
Hey, that's me right there, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey,
go ahead.
Well,
he cut out. He's gone. He dropped the call.
That's it, bro. His wife fucking snapped his neck right now. They saw that picture. All right, Bama, that other?
He wants to sell pre-workouts. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you now. What'd you say?
He wants to sell pre-workout because he's big and he changes that. That's up there with creatine a little bit. Maybe you guys can partner up a little bit.
There you go, Bama. He's gonna sell you some, player.
Hey, off topic. Hey, Bruno.
What's up?
How you doing?
Good, and yourself?
Hey, all right. Hey, Bruno, just out of curiosity, why your parents give you a stripper name?
Is that a stripper name? I never.
Bruno. Yeah, all right, ladies, get your hands together and put up for Bruno.
See, Bama, we let you cook, and look, here you go.
Bruno always reminds me of like hey, I'm gonna call Bruno to come handle this.
Bruno gonna come handle you right now. Big Bruno. What's good, though, Bama? What you got?
All right, the other thing is you guys were talking about graffiti.
Yes.
So you know, with graffiti, there's other crews, they'll make up a name for your crew, but it'll be to, like, disrespect you guys. What did they use to, like, make fun of your crew?
No one ever disrespected our crew.
That never happened.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Listen, when I was growing up, there were some guys, and they had a tagging crew. It was called TOC, and guess what they used to call them? Their ops.
What's that?
Tickle our coochie.
What did it stand for originally?
Thugs on Chronic.
Thugs on Chronic.
Well, they deserve the diss. It's a whack name, anyway.
Yeah.
There was another crew called CSM, and they were a little bit more known. And guess how they used to make fun of them?
Well, what was their name originally? And before you say how they made fun of them.
It was Can't Stop Mobbing.
Okay.
And their ops used to say, Can't Stop Masturbating. And last one. These guys are from the Palms area, and there's a tagging crew called BF, and they used to call them the Butterfinger.
Better than the butt fuck. All right, Bama, you got 10 seconds, man.
I thank you for bringing more normal people to the show, and man,
You got 5 seconds. Chris cut him off, bro. Chris cut you off, bro. Yeah, Chris hung up on you, Bama. All right, player. We'll talk to you later. Appreciate it.
All right, Pete.
All right, late. Hey, go ahead. Hey, Bama, you never sent me the address too. I got a nice bag for you, bro. I told him to send him. Bama's been how long has he been calling the show now? Over a year now or a little less? I don't know, but
I think it's been a couple years already.
He's actually he brings some good content to the show, bro. What else you got out there in your notebooks over there, Bruno?
No, I think we're pretty much good. I mean, we've been. Anything else you want to cover, Pete? Actually,
hotline.
Oh, what's up, Gil?
What's going on? Was this Artie?
No, it's Wolfie, homie, from Monte.
Monte, what's going on, homeboy? Talk to us.
Nah, I have much respect for the legends right there in the building, dog.
That's right.
Bruno and Olta, dog. Hey, how can I say this properly without showing it right? But before I got into the hood, or like even try to back to the hood,
right?
We were always, we were graffiti writers. I don't want to say taggers, homie, because I feel like that's like disrespectful to my artists, Okay. Because I'm not that, And Bruno and Olta, they're not taggers, homie. They're graffiti artists. And I just want to say much love, dog, for you for just showing that love and respect for us, and doing that in this way right now, because Man, dog, this interview is great, bro.
Heck yeah, bro.
I really appreciate I've never met either one of them. I'm from the SGV, dog. You know, my area is more like that SK mob, all them fools from FBI. Back in the day, you know, my clique was IHP, and we had to just break up because we had to either get jumped in the hood or it's on.
That happened to us too, by the way. We went through that.
Yeah. So, you know, and like half of my clique, we got jumped into different two hoods. And we have much love. Like I said, that was with my boys all day. We still get together, and regardless if we're from different neighborhoods,
that's
it's
dope.
the same shit.
Up.
But yeah, and I see you fools from what you guys are doing, dog. It's great, dog. I always try to like still do my thing, dog, and take a moment to like get on my black book and get back to my, you know.
And definitely check out Classic Burners on YouTube. You know, you'll learn.
Dog, and I'm on that shit, dog. Fucking oil, dog.
Yeah, oiler.
Well, my OG shit was pound from my HP, homie. I'll kill that 10 freeway, dog.
Yeah.
I'll be right behind oil.
Yeah, man.
I'll be right behind oil, dog. You know,
go, brother. Yeah, man.
You know, but my question was, besides all that, like, what yards are there now, like, for us OGs, or just do it legit, like, to go and hit, dog, where there's no drama, there's no beef. Well, have you guys
there's
seen that? Or
well, have you been out to Venice? I mean, STP has been running the Venice art walls for 13 years now. And so when...
Well, no,
go ahead.
Well, no, I heard you have to do like a whole you have to do a sketch and print it out, and SO, you know, like.
No, so I've been running those walls, like I said, for 13 years, and I took all that all away. We changed all the policies, so you could roll. It's not even just Saturday, Sunday anymore. You can just roll up whenever you want. And when they were going to tear them down, kind of what you're saying, we always thought that there should be a spot where if you want to take your girl, if you want to take your kids, you should be able to go and just paint, chill, eat, do your thing without having to worry about anything. And so that is a spot that I always recommend, because you got the boardwalk right there. Your chick won't be bored. Your kids won't be bored. You can hit the water. You just take your paint, drop throws, little piece, whatever you want.
And the cops don't harass you.
Yeah. And again, now you can go anytime. And if anybody did ask you, you could just say, "Hey, I already talked to Bruno, and they'll look out for you, so you won't have that." And besides that, maybe something closer to you. Yeah, things are different now. There are a lot of little yards, but not obviously anything that's put out there like that. But it is important that we look out for each other. And
is the Graph Lab still around?
The Graph Lab, yeah, but they charge you $5 to paint. But again, it's
don't worry,
bad.
Little youngster. Bruno got you.
Where's that at?
That's right.
Pico Union area.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about downtown LA in the art district? Can you go up there and paint, or they just
you have to kind of know somebody.
Well, you can paint on that underpass, right?
Yeah, there you go for free.
But yeah,
I follow the homeboy poet too, and I see his walls up, and he has sessions where you could set up. But I mean, I'm just what I mean. I'm trying to get back at it. It's just the holiday and trying to get back to the paint, and
life.
We ain't racking the paint no more. We buying that paint, so kind of different, dog.
Yeah, it's true.
So like I mean, if you ever want, like I said, just go on VeniceArtWalls.com. You want to message me, I can get you some spots to paint. And again,
that's right, Bruno. That's right.
And yeah.
And shout out to Euler, probably one of the greatest rackers that ever lived.
Dog. Yeah. Shout out to my crew, dog. All my homies from my HP, dog. All them fools, Dopey. This is Wolfie, homie from Monte. You know what's up. OG Pound on my clique, dog. You know what's up. We're still out here, dog. There's only 4 of us left, dog. It was like 30 of us.
Somos pocos pero locos, güey. Don't trip.
Yeah,
no. Well, we all got jumped into the hood, dog. So it's a different story now.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? So it's much love, Gil. That's us for doing this for us, dog. Like just recognizing the artists and the neighborhood, which
Absolutely.
we are that.
Yeah,
we are that, dog.
I appreciate you. I appreciate the support, man. I appreciate these two guys sitting right here next to me, brother.
All right, dog. You stay up. Wait,
right,
Bruno.
Yeah.
Mucho gusto, dog. Love.
Mucho gusto.
Mucho gusto.
That's right, bro. You hear the passion in that thing, and that's the unfortunate part. How he was saying how a lot of crews, but that's just the street life, bro. Eventually, you get too popular, and it's like, hey, homie, you guys are getting too popular. Either you're gonna join with us or be against us, and then some people just walk away from the life completely, which that's probably the smart thing to do, and some unfortunately get into the hood and then make enemies with people who used to be their friends, which becomes a whole different. Damn aspect.
I had some good homies. I don't know if you remember that little dude, Keck, K-E-K. He was up. He's from Monteflores, and I know EMS been transitioning people over for some time now. I go back to like the '80s with that dude, with Pryor and all that, up until the cats are out there.
Okay, so I think we're gonna start wrapping this thing up, man. I didn't even know Peter was coming on today, which worked out even better, bro. And then when I found out who Peter was, I've known Peter for over 30 years, bro.
Don't judge me from those times. Judge me from these times.
I know,
real quick before we go, Nasha Paint wanted us to shout out his people, Ice _out _ of LA, Ice out of LA, and Alex _ a lot. He says that they're really putting in work out there trying to get Ice out of LA.
Okay, nice.
Doing a lot of stuff. They could really appreciate if anybody wants to get out there, help them out, look them up, maybe contribute some food, water, ice because of the heat. He just said they're doing a lot of great work. So if you guys want to hit up my brother Nasha Paint, or again, Ice out of LA, Ice _ out _ of LA.
Yeah, I'll hook up with the guy. I'll go to Costco and buy a bunch of cases of water and stuff like that, bro, and do it.
If you go on his page, you'll see again that they're just doing awesome work. I believe one of them came out of Arizona, came all the way out here just to fight the cause, to fight the good fight. That's right. So it's important that we get out.
Can I give a shout out to Classic Burners?
You're next, brother.
Yeah. Oh, okay, I'm next. Okay, cool. So
you're over
which
here.
one am I? There.
This one right here. This one.
Okay, so Classic Burners. We tell the history of the graffiti, how it started, the originals in LA, hosted by my brother Skill One from UTI. So I encourage you to check that out on YouTube and Instagram. I do mentor people. I don't charge. If you have a problem with drinking, with your mindset, you have questions, you can reach out to me. I think I have a website, petervarati.com. www.petervarati.com.
I think I got a website there.
Yeah. Bro, well, I don't really do a lot with it other than answer some messages, helping other people. To me, it's not about making any money. It's if I could help one person, I can be that pivot point to that person. That's my goal, and that's why I came here. Hopefully something I said about, being in a dark place, losing it all multiple times. I built a $10 million business. I lost it all. I built a $5 million business. I lost it all. It doesn't matter how old you are. I don't care what Gil said, like that guy that has no hope. You have hope, man. It's just doing it. Less of this, more of this. Okay.
That's right. Yeah. Don't listen to Gil, bro. Don't listen to this guy.
No one's lost, bro.
Hey, but I appreciate both you guys coming in. It's nice to fucking see you, Peter. The last time I saw you. I'm gonna have a great conversation with my wife. I said, yeah. I didn't know that was him either. Oh, hey, Peter, how you doing? I said, wait a minute, that's that guy. Oh shit, I know this guy. Shit, I know you better than your wife, don't you? Hey, but I appreciate you guys in the chat, man. I appreciate you guys having the conversation, the phone calls, Bama. It's always a good conversation. This Saturday will be in my neighborhood on Tierra Street, right there next to the In-N-Out, North Hollywood. The gates will open at 9 in the morning at the park. We have, I think, over 500 backpacks. I'm gonna go grab some more right now on the way home. If you know any families in need, we got backpacks. We'll start giving them away at about 11 a.m. with myself, the Victory Outreach Church, and Champions and Services. So we're out here trying to help the community out. If you would like to donate, you can hit me up. And if you want to just pull up, we have some face painting, DJ. It'll be an event at the park, man. And it's all thanks to you guys, because if it wasn't for the platform, I probably wouldn't be doing this. I'd probably be drinking a Modelo at home right now, bro. But with that being said, God bless you guys. Thank you for supporting. And let's share the channel, man. We're about to break that 90,000 mark, man. I think we got like 70 more to break 90,000. After that, we'll push for the 100,000. God bless you guys. Have a great night. Late.